All right, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I am here with Katie.
Yes, sir.
Finally back together.
I know.
And we're here with Officer Matt.
How's it going?
And we know absolutely nothing about Matt. So
Zero.
It's going to be interesting.
Fair enough.
Just found out he's a lateral.
Yeah, we're all going to learn together.
Yep.
Yep. So, you have anything any announcements for us, Katie?
Of course. Before we get started, so keep in mind that you can get on to grandprairiepolice.org. So we need help or good people applying for detention. So which is our jail. I want to say that you still have weekends off. It's one of the highest paid in the Metroplex, if not the highest paid.
Well, they're about to get a raise, too. I don't remember what month, but it's coming up here pretty soon where they'll be getting that raise to put them up in the upper echelon.
There you go. So, and that's awesome. And just talking from to a few of them, I want to say you still get the weekends off. Like they're kind of like the police schedule every other Saturday. So that's a good thing. And then also we need dispatchers, so you can get online. I think you can click on wherever you want to apply, but when you see those jobs, 911 communications or something, it's called something like that.
Right.
But
think
yeah,
we have some detention. Someone with detention, I believe, someone in dispatch coming on the show here before too long too. So
yeah. So we're gonna have them, but if that's something that interests you, please get out there, fill it out, and you may be able to come in and do not like a ride along, but a sit along.
right.
So you can work with some of the men and women already here, so that you can see what it's like. I recommend that. So
Well, Matt, like we said, we know nothing about you. So you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit where you come from?
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, name, from California originally. I've lived there pretty much, my whole life, Bay Area, a little bit outside of San Francisco. Prior to here, I worked for San Francisco PD about 7 years.
Yeah.
Worked at a few different stations, a few different assignments. But like a lot of the out-of-state laterals here, got pretty tired of it and want something a little better, a little more rewarding.
Yeah.
Here I am.
You're like, go over there and drive up the home prices. Yay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
yeah,
We give all y'all hell
yeah,
about
we'll talk about that. That's a
No,
sore
yeah, it's,
subject.
I know. I've had that brought up to me a couple times. I know.
yeah. No, it's all good, bro. So started with San Fran PD. You
Yeah.
said you did about 7 years over
7
there?
years.
All right, so I always ask those guys or ladies that's coming from out there, was it foot patrol?
I worked foot patrol a little bit. The station I worked at was really small and it was a high pedestrian traffic area, so they wanted foot patrols kind of to deter crime. You can see how well that works.
Yeah.
But and people just smoke meth right in front of you and don't care. But yeah,
I
so
wish I did that here. I mean, just like every once in a while, like you're bored, walk out of the station. Oh, felony, come here.
well, there it's not.
Yeah.
It's at most a ticket. So
What?
yeah,
Never mind.
yep. Unless you're got a large quantity that's obvious that you're selling, then no, it's a ticket. And the
Yeah,
end.
I'm not like I don't even have a degree, but I wonder if there's a correlation between a lack of punishment and then doing something all the time.
Yeah. Especially since
yeah.
vast majority of the homeless and drug addicts out there are from other states. Especially,
Really?
Yeah. Like a lot of Texas, a lot of Tennessee, a lot of Florida, and a lot of Utah. They all got warrants that they will come pick them up on. So
Interesting.
So I guess if we're giving y'all our and we're getting cops, it's a pretty good trade.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's why I came.
Yeah.
So
That's weird.
So besides the obvious, what out there had you just like I'm over this?
well, we were losing people left and right for obvious morale reasons.
Right.
Your hands are pretty much tied. Our use of force policy was getting ridiculous to the point where if you put somebody in handcuffs and they flinched, which is pretty common because people are being under arrest is kind of an alarming thing.
Right.
That's a reportable use of force. So you have to get your sergeant out there, and yeah, it got ridiculous. We weren't allowed to have tasers because the community thought we'd use them to torture the mentally ill.
Did you?
Was that?
Did you?
No, we didn't have tasers. We couldn't do it. Zero pursuits were allowed, basically.
I'm sorry. That's a wild proposition that a more liberal area that typically would want de-escalation, want less lethal options.
Yeah.
So
advocates for the removal of one of those listings. I mean, the tasers have saved I don't know how many lives.
Yeah. So funny story. This is right before I got hired on there, but this is kind of when tasers were becoming more mainstream. The chief at the time was like the last. Went to a community meeting to try to get tasers approved. Demonstrated getting tased in front of all these people.
You did specifically?
No, the chief at the time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Say, hey, no, I'm going to demonstrate this. And then there was a lady there who had her son killed by SFPD because he was swinging some kind of like blade on a chain at people. Mm-hmm. And they kind of use that as an example of like, hey, if we had a taser, this might have been an option before we had to shoot him. That person's mom said, I'm glad my son never got tortured by that device. The chief said, well, I just demonstrated getting tased. I'm not going to demonstrate getting shot, so
right.
what gives?
Which ones do you think is worse?
Yeah, so that's kind of the mindset of people in San Francisco.
Huh.
Yeah.
And now that leads me to my second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Were you out there when people were breaking into the cars and everybody's filming?
So that wasn't big in my district. That was big in tourist areas. I worked at Central Station for a while, for about a year, which if you ever see San Francisco on TV, basically at Central Station. They show Chinatown, North Beach, the Wharf. That's basically all that. Oh, the Lombard Street, the little Kirby Street. So every touristy area is where all that's going down at.
Yeah.
But
was it Mist Outfire in San Fran?
Yeah,
that's not my part of San Francisco. I recognize the hills and the houses.
I think that's near the Marina District. But yeah, yeah.
Leave it to Nate.
Yeah, fair enough. But to go along with the pursuit policy on that one, obviously, whenever you try to light those guys up, they take off for obvious reasons. And it's not a violent felony; you can't chase them.
And the crooks probably knew that. And so,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Word spreads and that kind of stuff.
that's crazy.
So you grew up out there.
Yeah, a little like 30 miles east.
So you're somewhat familiar with the culture out there.
Yeah.
Go into your early life a little bit as far as like how you grew up and what led you, even growing up in that culture, to want to be a police officer out there.
Well, my dad was a police officer, so I kind of grew up around cops my whole life and heard all the fun stories and all that kind of stuff. He worked for a much smaller department, but yeah, I kind of got interested in it like early on. Then when I was in college, I was like a business major, which turns out it's a pretty useless major. But it's good listening to like all the classes and whatnot. I'm like, goes to my head, I'm like, I'd hate to do this for a living. Why am I here then?
Right.
And once I got out of college, I had a bunch of small odd jobs, but the whole time I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to give the police thing a shot. It actually sounds a lot more fun than sitting in an office.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So what was your early life like? Was it having a cop as a dad pretty strict or
not really. He was pretty reasonable to say the least. Everyone was like always afraid of my dad for some reason.
pretty normal?
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because this day he retired, they had a pretty good retirement system out there. So the day he turned 50, he threw down his papers. Was like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I could notice like a lot less, tents around the house and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden my friends were like, oh yeah, that's the coolest dad on the planet. But
right.
yeah, I was afraid of him growing up. I don't know why, but
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that as a parent.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
so with my kids too, my wife is also a police officer.
Right.
So it's like, my kids know we just kind of give them a look, and it is tight sometimes, as far as tension.
Yeah.
I could see it, and then it's like I'm on the cuffs of retirement, and so when I slow down, I want to throw it down and just be the coolest dad on the block.
Yeah.
So I think that's how.
But yeah, growing up though, like since he was a detective for like the last few years of his career,
Oh yeah.
I couldn't lie to him. Like he knew every single time. He's like, yeah, you looked up to the right. That's a sign that you're lying. And I'm like, God damn it.
See, you don't tell them.
Yeah.
I don't tell my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I caught my one of my boys last week, and he was just for something stupid. I'm like, bud, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why are you lying? He's like, I promise. I'm like, stop. It's like, I don't want you to say this anymore. Just like you're not doing yourself. He's like, oh, okay, I know. How'd you know? It's like,
Yeah.
just know you can't lie to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this, Matt. So, Dad's a police officer. Did you have anybody else like in the family, or do you have brothers and sisters that thought about it?
No. it's mostly just my dad and a few of his coworkers he's still friends with now that I see around the house and see him hanging out with. So,
What'd you whenever you were over in San Fran? What did you do?
mostly patrol for the vast majority of it. The last couple of years, I was on a foot patrol because they had a really good schedule.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
a lot
That's
of
all
overtime built into it. So I kind of was like, I was already planning on lateraling at that point. So like, I'm just going to make money and do my thing. And yeah.
Okay, so
Working
how
schedule.
long were you still in San Francisco whenever you had made your mind up like, hey, I'm getting out of here?
Well, I probably thought about it 2 years into being there, and then slowly but surely, like, I had a few friends that lateraled here, and that's kind of how I found out about Grand Prairie. And then when I came out and visited with my fiance, I was like, yeah, we're making the move, and I finally talked her into it. And
Okay, so she was out there. So when you first brought it up, like, babe, I'm thinking about going to Texas. Are you coming? What did she say?
she didn't hate the idea, but she wanted to be sold on it, I believe.
Yeah.
I think deep down she wanted to get out of California, but all of her family's still out there, so that was kind of a hard decision.
Right.
So, like, luckily for me, like, my parents moved out here probably 6 months before I did,
Oh,
and they live sort of in the area. Was that?
No, I said no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it kind of made it a little bit easier for me. But they
Yeah.
kind of like, them moving out here was kind of contingent. I was like, hey, you're applying for jobs out there, right? I'm like, yeah. Like,
Gotcha.
all right, we'll move then. We'll pull the trigger. And
yeah.
'cause they were talking about moving the day you retired, and that was 2005. So they just never pulled the trigger on any place. They're looking at Idaho, up near Sacramento. They just never pulled the trigger, and they finally did. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting away from was it getting out of California specifically, or just kind of getting away from the big cities and
yeah, I'd say both.
yeah.
They live in like a small lake town now, so I think they're
Oh, cool.
They're digging it.
Very
A
nice.
little more laid back.
Does your wife's family have any plans, or your fiance's family have any plans to make it over?
Trying to talk them into it. They still have a few more years before they retire. They're a little bit younger than my parents. Yeah, still trying to talk them into it. I know her dad wants to, but I'm not sure if her mom is. Her mom's a little liberal. but yeah, I think we can talk them into it. But they still got about 3 years before they even get to entertain the idea.
Very cool. Now, once I guess we'll talk about your adjustment here in a minute, but has your family or your fiance had any kind of things to adjust to now that they're here?
Besides the heat.
I was literally going to say it was the heat. That's it. She about that all the time. But
That's a big deal. I almost died walking in after
I just get used to temperature after like a few days and say, yeah, I don't care. But, one of the stipulations is we had to get a house with a pool, which I didn't really want, but we got a pool. I wanted a 3-car garage. She wanted a pool. We got the pool.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, actually,
I
I'm
probably
kind of glad we
only
did now.
paid $800,000 for it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
No, way less than that. It would have been 1.4 back home. So.
I'm sure. Man.
Now, speaking of which I know this annoys Texas folks, but yeah, my parents bought their house in '95 for like $275. Sold it a year and a half ago for 1.4.
Whoa.
It's just a regular house.
Golly.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. What's a regular house?
And then they brought that money
I mean,
here.
okay, it's
Yeah.
it's
Like,
it was a nice house, but it's not
1,500 square foot?
No, it was like 22.
Oh, okay.
But it's a nice house, but something you're going to be impressed with. You're not going to
Yeah.
be like, hey, babe, check out the house I went to. It's not that house. It's just a.
Golly.
Hell, I need to move to Cali for a few years.
Man. Yeah, that's the problem though. You had to have been back there where you could get a house
Yeah.
for $275.
Well,
at the time.
I mean, before I left, I sold my condo for $515, and yeah, the house I bought was like $430. So
right. That's perfect.
yeah, I don't like bringing up the Texas folks, but it just pisses them off. I get it. I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts.
It
Trust
does
me,
hurt.
it hurts. But man, that is awesome. Because here, like, and I tell people, your investments, most of the time, your house is your biggest investment.
No, absolutely.
Unless you go and start some high dollar business. But most of us, it's just your house is going to be your investment. So use it. And hopefully, hell, I'm doing the same thing. Because
Yeah.
when I retire, I want to sell mine and move away out to the country also. But yeah, we're still mad at you, bro. Don't get it twisted. We're still mad. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'll be on Realtor.com.
Yeah, but the
later.
same-
It's like, God damn, Matt.
Yeah, yeah. This is for Matt.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I was, making San Francisco wages, but all I could afford was a condo unless I wanted to live an hour and a half away. So, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, we talked to some of the laterals, and they said it was not uncommon to have like a roommate, maybe two,
yeah.
depending on how nice of an area. It's different out there.
Yeah. I lived as door to door is about 30 miles.
You said door to door?
Door to door, like if
door to door.
To my station, basically, it's about 30 miles. And the shift I worked would probably only take like 45 minutes. But if I worked day shift, it'd take me like 2.5 hours to get home just because of all the traffic. It's not like the Metroplex here where there's just webs of highways. It's just there's only kind of like one or two ways to get to San Francisco because of the water. You have to go across a bridge, which is a huge bottleneck. So,
baby, I'm not coming home for 3 days. My shift, I would be spending the night in the cubicle.
Yeah, I was telling some of the guys here that, like, oh yeah, my house now is like 30 minutes away from the station. And they're like, wow, why do you live that far away? I'm like, I thought that was pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Damn. 2 hours in the car. Now here's my 2-week notice.
Well, we had some people that would live out of state, adjust their schedules so they work 2 weeks straight, then they fly back for 2 weeks. We called it a super commute. Yeah, which is insane. I know. Like, hey,
Okay, hold on.
I would take that over. I would rather do that than sit in traffic for 2 hours every day.
that's them too.
Yeah. I wouldn't sit in traffic.
Yeah, a lot of
for 2
people
hours.
lived in either Boise or like Phoenix.
Super commute.
Yeah. They're actually allowing, as like a recruiting tool, they're like now allowing people to adjust their schedule for that reason.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna implement that.
Dang. I like how departments around here are trying to, like, our department would encourage people to like live in the city or live close to the city that you serve, and I guess other places are taking the opposite approach.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they're kind of like how we have courtesy officers for apartments. They do the same thing, but you have to live in real grimy apartments.
Yeah.
And he's basically just kicking out and
Yeah.
telling people not to smoke that there and, hey, use the bathroom, please. But you get to live in a place for free.
that's nice. So as far as adjustments go, now that you're here, I don't even know how long you've been here.
Almost a year. It'll be a year next month.
Okay, that doesn't make me feel too bad then. While we haven't met,
Yeah.
what's your?
I've been on night shift the whole time, so I'm sure
What shift are you on?
night's B.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How you liking it compared to San Fran?
That's much better. I don't feel like stressed out leaving every single day. Like, did I mess up that call? Am I going to get a nasty ground tomorrow? Or just let you do your thing.
Right. The as far as like you got to get any chases and stuff yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Way more than in the less than a year that I've been here. I've gotten in more than I did in San Francisco.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because a lot of times
I
like
only got into 2 in San Francisco, and they were total of 4 blocks, I believe.
oh wow, car or foot?
Oh no, I've gotten plenty of foot pursuits there. That
Okay.
happened every day, but not every day, but
Yeah.
But no, car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I imagine you're working in San Francisco. You're not getting up to like super high speeds or anything like that here. Was that kind of an adjustment for you?
Not unless they
coming
hit the freeway.
Right.
But yeah, that's usually one of the reasons why they got rid of the pursuit policy is that people would, suspect would still drive 70 miles an hour down a city
Sidewalk.
street. And it's like, yeah, we're not chasing that.
in? Right. Yeah.
I mean, the last one I was involved in, the guy made it 2 blocks before he T-boned a Celica. So I mean, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. That'll get your pursuit policies.
No, it
Under
was
the
justified. It was
Yeah,
justified
no
pursuit. It was a carjacking. So
Oh yeah.
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 Or, believe it or not, you can still chase that in San Francisco. We'll see how long, but yeah.
What you have any stories from San Francisco that you're hoping to leave behind? Maybe you embarrassed yourself on?
I'm sure there are. I should have called my old partner. He would have enlightened me. I'm sure I've tried to block him out of my memory. Okay, it's not quite. Here's one let's just say I felt bad about then. I was on a foot beat. I walked by a bus station, and I see a guy with his hand open. I can't see what it is, but he suddenly puts it in his pocket. I'm like, what the hell is that? He opens his hand again, and it says drugs. I could tell it's just a bunch of bundles of crack cocaine.
Yeah.
He immediately throws them in his mouth and starts trying to eat them. So like I get in a wrestling match with him, trying to prevent him from swallowing it. He does.
I thought you were gonna say. I was like, well, have a nice day.
Here's your ticket.
Yeah, I feel bad too.
So anyway, eventually wrestling the cops, but then like he swallowed all of it, so we had to go to the hospital. Normally in that scenario, you just get the guy ID'd, and you cut him loose, and then write a warrant later.
Right.
But for some reason, that was by Friday. For some reason, the whole day's off. They had overtime units like sitting on that guy at the hospital. I'm like, why? And all of a sudden, by Monday, a guy that was at the hospital hands me a bag of all those bindles covered in a brownish material. I was like, hey, Lieutenant made me get these for you. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Like, we just cut the guy loose, man. It was like 10 rocks. Who cares? But,
God.
yeah, that was the only one I could think of that comes to mind. But, yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing for you or for the other guy.
Yeah, I was like,
Or for the other
I was like,
officer,
hey,
like-
man, what kind of beer do you drink? I got you.
Jesus.
We'd have definitely wrote a ticket.
Yeah.
Bro, look, I'm gonna write you a ticket.
Probably would have been like, have a nice day.
Yeah. I don't know what you're eating, but chew it
Yeah.
up, sir. Have a good day.
No, that was a big no-no. If you saw a guy ingest drugs, you had to take him to the hospital. So you
It
get in
is-
trouble for that.
It is
Yeah.
a humane thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though they chose to do it. They purposely wrap all the way the drug dealers would wrap the bindles too. They'd wrap them in layers and layers of cellophane, so it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Breaking them.
Dissolve anytime.
Yeah,
soon.
then if you didn't arrest them, they just go around the corner and throw it up anyway and resell it. So. Yeah, we didn't really have they didn't have too high end of clientele, so I don't think they cared too much if it smelled.
Not exactly getting bad Yelp reviews. So
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a thumbs up. Hit the
Yeah,
like
you'd come back
button.
anyway. I mean, when your whole life's fentanyl, you're gonna come back anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh man. All right, so I'm gonna try to stir us back a little
All
bit.
right, sorry.
All right. So you said your buddies were here.
Yeah.
And then I guess you stayed in contact with them, and they was telling you, "Hey, man, come to GP, or at least look at GP."
Yeah.
So what made you say, "Yep, GP it is"?
Just when they kind of described how they treat their officers, they actually care what you're doing. The chief knows your name, he knows what you're up to, and not in like that negative way. He's like, hey, I actually know what my officers are doing. I encourage them to go out there and do their thing, either whether it's trying to find stolen cars, trying to get dope. Hey, whatever you do, just go out there and do it. And
yeah.
they don't just want us being scarecrows, and they actually give you the tools that you need to succeed. Not to sound corny saying that, but yeah, and just a better quality of life.
Yeah, because
Thinking on it.
we're all laterals, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's funny because when you talk about that, that was some of the same questions. Hell, we had way back when I was coming over.
Kind
Like,
of way back.
we're old, bro. We're
Little bit.
veterans. We're veterans.
God, he pisses me off sometimes.
8 years. 8 years. So, but yeah, it was like, do you have the command support? You know,
Right.
like, are you gonna get the right tools? Because some people don't get the new cars or new bicycles or whatever it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, bro, that was a
big thing for me when I leave my last agency too. Was even though San Francisco is considered like the tech hub of America, they're living in the Stone Age. I mean, half the fleet was still Crown Vics, none of which had like license plate readers or anything like that. What else didn't we? We didn't have tasers. I've mentioned that. The report writing system was pretty archaic. Apparently, they're updating that. I don't.
Didn't they stop making the Crown Vic?
Yeah, it's cheaper just to fix them.
So, okay, so they recruited you. Have you done your part? Have you talked to anybody that's still there that, your buddies or whatever? Like, hey,
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually at the station 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And at least 6 or 7 guys came up to me and asked me about specifics about the department. And I said, yeah, you guys are working in the Stone Age, man. Everything here is streamlined. Over there, they try to put roadblocks in front of you to discourage you from it. They will never tell you, hey, don't go make a dope arrest or don't go do this. But they will add more paperwork to it to make it not worth it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's their way of saying, like,
Yeah, don't.
hey, don't bother. So
You
that's,
just got to game it. You
Exactly.
gotta start getting that arrest 30 minutes before you get off.
yeah.
Okay.
mandatory
You want me to do
overtime.
4 hours worth of overtime?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I hope you talk to him, get him over here.
Working on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. So now that you're here, of course, it's been a short stint so far.
yeah.
What is something or that has stood out that you're like, Grand Prairie does it this way? you know, and not to compare or bash, you know, San Fran or whoever, but, and I give you an example. We were talking about where we came from. You didn't do any paperwork when you made the initial arrest. You had to transport that person to jail, and you could be there for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a Class C.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like here, you know, in training, they're like, go ahead and book him in. And you're like, what? No, we're sitting out on scene. Go ahead and book this guy in. And you start the process there so that when you pull up into the Sally Port, you were in and out in 10 minutes sometimes.
Absolutely, and that was one of the big things that stood out to me too.
Yeah.
Same situation in San Francisco too. Like, well, you could bring it back to the station. Do it's called a booking card. Basically, is that you fill out their information and the charges, and then you'd take them down to county jail. And yeah, especially during COVID, it could take 4 hours or so. I have no idea what the hell they were doing in there, but also they're like, okay, yeah, now you can come in. Like,
Yeah.
seems like this could be a better process, but
Oh, good.
yeah.
Well, now that you're here, kind of on the personal side of things, not really specific to our department, but what do you do to, besides like probably skip around your giant house? What do you do? What do you do to kind of unwind?
It's a modest house.
What do you do to unwind and kind of relieve some of the stress that you incur from the job?
Well, lately I've been doing a lot of minor house upgrades and stuff like that. But
It didn't come with a person to do that for you?
come on, man. Make me feel bad, all right? Wanted a better house. Anyway, I like going to the gym. Like to go shooting. I haven't gone in a while. It's been kind of busy. I'm actually going tomorrow with my dad, so I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my main two hobbies. I've been trying to get a little more outdoorsy. My fiance and I like kayaking, so I've been trying to pull a trigger and buy one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good lakes and stuff in the area. So
What do you like to shoot?
what or where?
Well, what? Like, as far as weapons go, not. I'm assuming you're shooting targets.
Usually handguns. It's
Okay.
usually what I like doing. It's a little cheaper, obviously, than rifle, and
Right.
a little more practical for work, you know. Tomorrow, though, my dad and I built an AR, so we're gonna go sight it in.
Oh, very
for
cool.
him. Yeah. So it's
Very, very cool.
AR day tomorrow.
Now, you're always a gun guy, or was that like a
Yeah,
Texas
for the
thing?
most part. Kind of started growing a bit more once I became a cop, and you meet a lot more gun guys who knew a lot more than I did. So I could kind of learn from them and learn what to buy, what not to buy, and yeah. So that hobby kind of grew once I became a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your most expensive pistol?
I have a Staccato P.
Oh,
I knew you could say that.
Staccato?
Yeah, we did a group buy at the my last station before I left. So this is a little bit cheaper, but
Oh, it's like in bulk.
yeah,
Gotcha.
a guy ordered I think like 200 of them.
Golly,
Yeah, but I mean,
he had 200 people to buy him.
Oh yeah. So this is another BS California law. You can't buy those in California unless you're law enforcement. They have a handgun roster. So what a lot of cops do, which is gray area, they'll buy guns like that, then resell them on the secondary market for 4 times the price. A civilian buying will pay like $10,000 for a Staccato.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's stupid, right?
That's what, $2,500 pistol.
Yeah.
Golly.
So
Sorry.
So is that? I have no idea about pistols. Is that better than the what is it, 1911?
So it basically is a 1911. However, I think they call it a 2011, which it's a 9mm instead.
Okay.
So it holds more rounds. Just real high quality
Yeah.
machining.
Toscado?
Staccato.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
You're
they're
how I
more for
pronounce
like
it.
competition shooting, aren't they?
Yeah. A few agencies carry them though.
Really?
Yeah, I saw a guy have one.
I wonder if they just let you.
Yeah,
you
everybody's
have
let
your
you do whatever you want, or not
Yeah.
whatever you want, but you know.
own. Yeah, I can't imagine a municipality
hold-
paying for that.
Yeah.
No, but apparently if you get like an OIS with one, they have to seize it for evidence. Staccato will give you a loaner.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
It's not worth it, but cool. Jeez. What about y'all have any kids?
Not yet. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
So,
So
a
what-
couple years out for that.
Takes
Look,
away from
when's the
animal
big
money.
day? So if she came over here and you're like, babe, we got this big old house, got the job now.
I don't know why you just assume my house is big. I never told you the square footage or anything.
Because we've talked to you California guys, we know how this works.
Okay.
It's not my first rodeo, my brother. Trust me.
All right.
Trust me. No, but have
I still
y'all?
don't know that I believe that you're doing your own work in your house.
Yeah, have y'all set a date yet?
For kids or getting married?
Married.
Yeah, it's going to be in October.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
we're
coming
all,
up.
we're
Very
all
cool.
invited. We'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Open bar?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a podcast
Done.
too, bro. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, that'd be the one that doesn't get published. He just handed it to Leonard. He go, okay.
Yeah.
Trash.
Save that for the retirement party.
Yeah. Speaking of retirement, what kind of trajectory do you see your career now that you're here? You're kind of getting acclimated to the
Right.
culture and whatnot. Where do you see yourself kind of going or wanting to focus on?
My next step, I would like to work something like investigative. I never really got a chance to do that too much with my last agency. You had to actually get promoted to sergeant in order to be a detective.
Wow.
Yeah, which is also stupid. But
So every detective was a sergeant?
except for people at narcotics, that was the only not sergeant position.
That's interesting.
But, yeah. Well, it used to be back in the day. You either promote the sergeant or inspector. Inspector is what they call detectives, but that was kind of like a dead end from there. Because then, if you wanted to become a lieutenant, you had to go then back to promote the sergeant and then the lieutenant. So they just made it all one thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, I don't know why I just didn't get rid
So
of it.
do sergeants have any? Do you have patrol sergeants? Like if you're a detective as a sergeant and then you go back
yeah,
to patrol,
you
or
go
you're
back
in
and
charge?
forth. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So usually when they promote, they ask you like, "Hey, do you want to work investigations or do you want to work patrol?" And they'll try to fit you into that spot, but they usually don't have much say on where you go once you get promoted.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Until you got a little bit of time in.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
excuse me that, and it's like, oh, you're a sergeant, but we need you over here. Remember?
Yeah.
Once you promote,
Yeah, that's basically how they fill all the spots at IA. It was, oh, you guys are all new and you don't have a choice. Have fun. But
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so investigations, that's a big umbrella. Where, like, anything in particular you want to focus on?
You want to be on First 48?
Eventually, someday, I wouldn't mind, working majors. But I know that's kind of like that's not your first investigative gig, you know?
Typically, no, yeah.
Yeah. So I still have to. I haven't met too many of the detectives here yet to get a good feel of what would be. I think would be a good fit for me yet. I'm still just kind of focused on finishing up probation and one step at a time. And I know what I kind of wanted to work back in San Francisco, but I know it's gonna be completely different here based on
What was it there?
Eventually, wanted to make it up to homicide, but that wasn't like I said, that was like you don't just get sent there. You have to
Right.
work something
Yeah.
else first. Usually you have to work like a bunch of years at like gang task force or like SVU or something, which covered like family violence and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So did you have kind of a path mapped out there, or no? You were just gonna kind of see what comes. Up?
I took the sergeant's test before I lateraled or started the lateral process, and the way it was going, like, there's no way they're picking me. It was like a list of 100 or probably 200 people, and I was like in the middle of the pack, so
Right.
they ain't picking me.
Dang.
So
200 people.
How many positions?
they usually promote every like November, and it can range anywhere from like 15 to 30, depending on what they need.
Golly, that's not very good.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Yeah,
ratio.
if I was number 157, they ain't coming to me. Then like every 3 years they start the list over. So
Blows.
yeah. But whatever. I knew I wanted to lateral anyway, so I didn't care that much.
Right.
So
Well, the good thing is here, you don't have to take a test to become a detective or,
Right.
or any other position either.
Yeah.
got to apply.
Yeah, just
Get
apply,
picked, obviously.
interview, get picked. And
Yeah.
you go from there. It's a rewarding job. It's a much different pace than patrol for sure.
Right. That's what I wanted to do. Because I've worked pretty much patrol my whole life. I just wanted to try something a little different.
Right.
Eventually I'd like to promote as well. So I think having that investigative side as well just would make you a better like patrol sergeant too.
Yeah.
Knowing what needs to be done on certain cases and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the being an FTO and being in investigations makes you much better on the street.
No, I agree. I was at FTO for a couple of years back in the last agency.
How does that work? Like if you're on a foot beat, you just follow them around?
Oh no.
Stand right
No,
here.
if you ever recruit, they give you a car.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you're not doing foot beats. Well, if the recruit was like having trouble with like self-initiated stuff, I'd be like, hey, we're going on foot. We're going to this area called UM Plaza where just criminals hang out. And you're like, hey, we're just going to stop people for all kinds of stuff. You're going to get good at this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, though, yeah, you're in a car handling calls for service. They just adjust your schedule slightly.
That's cool. Yeah. You have any intention on trying to do FTO here?
Not sure yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What's it predicated on? Besides like getting past that phase you're in where they can fire you for no reason.
Well, it's just I already did it once. I mean, if they ask me to do it, I'll probably do it. But
Right.
like I said, I kind of want to try getting that investigative side first.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It takes a special person to give all power to some rookie, somebody else in the coach. Like, okay, you drive. Here's a computer. And you start piling this on. I couldn't do it. I'd be holding on to that handle and just probably screaming at that recruit, like, do this, do this. So,
Yeah, I've been there.
yeah.
Luckily, like majority of the recruits they gave me were actually pretty good. They just had like one deficiency. And it was usually report writing. And I was pretty good at that, so I was able to help them out with that. But every once in a while, I'd fill in for, if their actual FTO called in sick that day. They're like, hey, can you take this kid for a day? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, what the hell was this guy teaching you, man?
Right.
Yeah.
As long as the deficiency isn't driving.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of younger, I don't consider myself that old, but like people younger than me didn't grow up driving. They just take Uber everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, driving was like a big deal for a few of the recruits because they didn't get their license until they had to apply where you required to have a license.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. It was like,
get this recruit a bicycle. No, not happening.
Golly. I've ridden with guys who've driven their whole lives. And
yeah, I got
can
my
think of-
license the second I turned 16. I mean,
Right.
because I wanted it. But kids now, I guess, just call Uber.
No way.
Yeah, Mom, I need a driver's license. Why? Oh, I'm applying with the PD.
Yeah, I'm going to go be a cop.
So, what?
Get a big boy job.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so I know you're young. I keep going back to that, or rookie.
Nah, I look older than I am. But
What would you tell somebody that's wanting to start off green in this profession?
I would say, like, once you get into the thick of it and you're out of the academy, like, your whole last few months, your whole mindset is police work, being a cop, being a cop, being a cop. Maintain your like relationship with like your non-cop friends. They kind of keep you a little more grounded in reality. Give you like an outside perspective because now like you're dealing with how to put it. You're dealing with one mindset. I'm sure we all have the same opinion on most things. Like just 'cause the nature of the business. I think it's important to get that outside perspective on life and get somebody with a different life experience. So it's not just police work on your mind all the time. Even when you're outside of work, having a couple beers with your friends, it's not police work. It's
Right. Well,
relaxing.
I find a lot of times the civilian friends can help reduce some of the cynicism. That
yes,
you tend to
that's kind of
with.
what I meant. You just said it a little more eloquently.
Oh, that's a first.
Yeah, just having that, not having seen the bad side of humanity
Yeah,
for
exactly.
every single situation. Is
Exactly. Like, I know, like, we've all seen cop shows and they're all corny as hell. The most realistic scene that related to this I've seen was, what was the name of that show? I had with Tom Selleck in it.
Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods, yeah. I was watching it on a plane. Yeah, me too. But there's a scene at the very, like, this is the first episode. I just happened to watch it on a plane. And the young kid just gets out of the academy. And he's having dinner with his, like, friends that went to law school, and they're all talking lawyer BS. And they go, oh, hey, so-and-so, you just got out of the academy. That's exciting, right? He's like, yeah, it's fun. What'd you do today? Oh, yeah, this piece of kicked this 5-year-old down a flight of stairs. And then all of a sudden, people look at him like, why'd you tell me that? Like,
Right.
well, you asked. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think every cop's had that moment where they told a story to their not cop friends, like, yeah, that story wasn't for you guys. So that's,
Well, the best part's when you think it's funny.
yeah.
Like
right.
tell me a funny story, and it's like this.
Oh, dude, you should see this guy that got hit by a bus. Yeah.
Right. And they're like, yeah, that's not funny, and you're a bad person.
Well, you had to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, we are in no way saying that's funny. No,
that first time you realize, like, I'm not totally normal anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just have to realize that we rationalize things a whole lot different than everybody else. So
Exactly.
it's all good.
Drives my wife nuts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you develop the ability to find humor in a lot of different things. Well, man, I appreciate you sitting down with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you make it off probation. And
I know it's just weird. It's like, man, a 1 year. Oh, that's awesome. But hey, we've all been there. We've all had to start.
No, absolutely.
If you need something, you know us. So reach out to us, bro. But it'll be a good career here. You have a lot of fun.
No, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
all right, buddy. I appreciate it. Till next time.